To complete this journal, you'll have to follow these steps. Number 1, the order ID column serves as a way for you to track your order. You don't have to use it, but you can. The PubHub's management uses this column to identify each order with a number. Number 2, in the item name column, you simply type in the name of the item you just sold. Number 3, in the customer column, you enter the client's name. Number 4, by left-clicking the small arrow on the right side of this cell, the business activities or revenue groups you entered in the business activity table on the control panel will appear in alphabetical order. This serves as a reminder to what business activities you entered. Choose one by left-clicking it. You can also just write it out if you prefer that. The item you just sold will be grouped to the business activity you just chose. In this example, a multi-pack belongs to the physical store Pet Blank is business activity. Excel is a smart tool. Once you enter anything in a cell and you type in the first letters, it will give you a suggestion of what you want to type. Once you see the gray area, you can just hit enter, and this will significantly speed up the process. Number 5, enter the date of the transaction in the date column. The next 2 cells are automated. Make sure you don't override these by entering data yourself. Number 6, to speed up the process even further, I made a quantity table. So let's say you're selling 6 identical items to the same client. You can just fill in the data once and insert the quantity here. Number 7, you still remember what revenue is, right? It's the amount you made selling an item. In some countries, the governments tax sales, which means there will be a tax on every amount you make from the sale of an item. You don't want to include that tax in this column. You want the price of the item or items you just sold excluding taxes. Number 8. Remember the direct cost we talked about earlier? In this column, you can enter how much direct costs are related to the item you just sold. If you buy items and resell them for a higher price, you'll have a good idea of what to enter here. If you produce items yourself using raw materials, it's a tad bit more complex. Once again, we have a solution for you. I'll dig deep on how I solved this problem for you in the next chapter. For now, let's continue completing the sales journal. Number 9. A sales tax is a tax on consumption of goods and services imposed by the government. This means each time you sell a product or service, the government will tax the consumer, which is your client. The government of some countries don't impose sales tax. In that case, you can just leave this blank or fill in 0. If your government does impose sales taxes, you can just enter the percentage of taxes your government imposes. The next 2 columns are automated formulas, so make sure you don't override these. Number 10. This is a tool for you to prevent you from losing track of clients who will still owe you money. If your client paid his bill, click on the cell in the column Amount Paid and enter the amount of column to the left named Total Invoice Amount. A shortcut for this is using the following. In the column Amount Paid, enter the equal sign. Push the arrow to the left and hit that enter button on your keyboard. And let's go to the last column. Number 11. If one of the salespeople made the sale of the item, just enter his or her name. You'll also be able to use a drop-down list. This will give you an alphabetical list of the names you entered in the sales team table on the control panel. Don't forget, this doesn't need to be people. You can also just enter platforms or different shops at different locations in order to track how much revenue each platform or shop generated. Here's a little tip. You don't have to fill in your sales chronologically. In case you didn't, you can just use the filter button to order them chronologically after you've done. You can do this by using the small arrow next to the date column header. Next, just select Sort Oldest to Newest option. This will organize the whole journal in chronological order. And that's it for the sales journal. If you think this is too much effort, I can already let you know that the amount of insights you'll get from entering the data will overcompensate you for the time you invested to keeping this journal up to date. Remember, the journals are the only parts that aren't fully automated.